Hi guys, the Labour Party's position on Brexit is extremely frustrating. They've gone from being an openly pro-European party to one that says stuff like we need to respect the vote, to now talking about making Brexit work. Now, I understand that the party's focus is on winning power, and many people within Labour feel that they need to avoid talking about Brexit in order to keep voters, especially those in the red wall or marginal constituencies, happy. One thing is not talking about Brexit, another is being dishonest about it. Here, Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves spoke to Iain Dale on his show a few days ago about Brexit, and this was painful.
It's clear that the trade and cooperation agreement that the Tories did with the EU a couple of years ago is not working well enough for British businesses. Now, look, the vote has happened. We've left the European Union. I don't want to reopen that because I think it was incredibly divisive for us as a country. But there is now a review of the Trade and Cooperation Agreement in 2025. I hope that Labour will be in government by then. And we've started to set out some of the things we want to do to improve upon the deal that we've got. That would include a veterinary agreement to help our fantastic farming and fishing industries to trade and reduce those barriers at the border. It would mean the mutual recognition of professional qualifications to help our services sector, which is the...
Okay, but mutual recognition of qualifications doesn't really help businesses or business people or employees of companies, because they can go to meetings, but they can't work abroad. So it will help some businesses, yes, in some minor way. Yes, when you want to travel abroad and you need your qualifications recognized, but it's not going to be good for people who want to move, for example, to the EU. They're going to still have to go through the hoops that they're already having to go through now because of Brexit. So it will help some businesses in a very marginal way, but that's about all.
The biggest part of our economy. We want our universities, which are the best in Europe, to be able to take part in the Pan-European Horizon Research programme. And we want to help our creative industries, who at the moment are struggling to tour around Europe because of the bureaucracy. That's what we want to use that review to do, because we know that the deal that we've got today is not working. I welcome the fact that there's changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol, but there needs to be other changes to make sure this deal works properly for us.
There was a poll
Actually, the Northern Ireland Protocol and the TCA are unrelated.
out today that shows that Labour is now ahead in all of the red wall seats. They voted Conservative at the last election predominantly because of the Brexit issue. That's what most people think.
Well, and the fact that Jeremy Corbyn was the leader of the Labour Party, I think, was probably the biggest issue.
I'm sure you said that at the time, but we'll take that.
Well, I think I'd...
Well, actually, I think you did say that at the time, to be fair.
Thank you, Ian.
But will you commit now and reassure the red wall seats that you are not going to go back into the single market at any point?
We're not going to go back into the single market. We're not going back into the customs union, and we're not bringing back free movement of labour. Those are our red lines, and we...
Why? Why are they red lines? Like, okay, first of all, you can't go back into the single market because you need to join the EU in order to get back into the single market. But let's park that for a moment. Why would it be a red line? Why would you say we don't want to be in the single market? Like, you even have Tory MPs talking about how the UK should be in the single market. Great Britain, I should say. Even Tory, very few, there's maybe one or two, but they're saying, yes, it would be better to be in the single market. Why is the Labour Party saying, no, we don't want to be in the single market? It would be a huge boost to businesses, both importing and exporting. That's the biggest market for the UK, the European Union. Getting rid of these barriers to trade if the UK was in the single market. Now, once again, it can't jump into the single market. You have to go through the most likely route being that of the EU membership. But it is frustrating to hear, no, we're not, this is our red line. We're not going to go into the single market. Why? Because there are racists and bigots in the red wall seats we need to keep on board. Is that it? Or is it, maybe I'm being a bit mean here, Or is it just people don't want to talk about Brexit? And if we want to get back into the single market, we have to go through EU membership. That's the most likely path. Then we have to reopen the Brexit debate once again. And we don't want to do that. How is the economy supposed to grow if you have this handbrake on all the time? Brexit is like a handbrake. Trying to move forward and you're being pulled back all the time or slowed down a great deal all the time.
We do not want to reopen that Brexit debate because it did tear us apart as a country. And for years and years, we've been talking about nothing else. And that has not been good for our economic prospects either. But we want to make practical changes to improve this deal for businesses, for working people, to bring in that investment into the country and to help us export more around the world.
How? Please tell me, how can you bring in investment if you're telling businesses, well, if you want to export, you're going to still have these problems? Because it's important to remember that whatever changes are applied to the TCA is not going to change the UK's status as a third country. Changes to the TCA will not mean the UK is a part of the single market. You're going to be able to make some minor changes, but the UK, as I should say before, Britain is outside the single market. Third country status is bad for a reason. It's much better to be part of the single market if you're selling into the single market all the time. If you're importing from the single market, it makes more sense to be inside it or to have a very favorable trading relationship. But the TCA isn't like that. Once again, I think the Labour Party are trying to hold on to these marginals, or their eyes are set on on winning these marginals, winning back the red wall, and perhaps, according to their polling, don't talk about Brexit. You know, people are tired of it. People don't want to reopen these wounds. But if you want to be honest, you have to talk about rejoining the EU and rejoining the single market. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.